Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Megwe, and now we shift gears and talk about matters to do with real estate. We are looking at the real estate trends in 2024 and projections in the coming year, that is 2025. Now, real estate was expected in this year alone to grow from to 15.98%. Not even for, 15.98 trillion dollars in 2024. And also the African real estate market was also expected to grow and reach a 5.92% annual growth. And Kenya, Egypt, Nigeria are some of the countries in Africa that have been projected or that have emerged as perfect destinations for real estate market in the continent. And so to help me in this conversation, we're going to delve into it right now. I'm joined by Felix Akuku, who is the value-added lead and e-commerce. It is e-commerce and value-added lead at SIC Investment. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
Happy to join us this Monday morning.
Karibu sana to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, we are talking about real estate markets, especially in the country now. Why don't you just, let's start with an overview of the real estate market in the country, probably in the last decade. How has it been?
It's been on a steady growth, considering that, the factors that improve, that contribute to the real estate is largely informed by the the government plans that come in, the multinationals that plug in to invest around, the migration, urban to rural to urban migration, and all those indicators have been on an exponential growth. And so that one largely speaks to the increase in the desire to invest in this space. I think notable pointers are in the retail sector, in the residential sector, and in the commercial all specs, which all speak to a general growth over the decade, because we've seen East Africa increasingly becoming a serious hub of concern, and also we've seen lots of multinationals creating a hub within the East African sector, and Kenya, of course, is an important spot, just as you've indicated. And so we look forward to a sector that we can say it's still very fertile. When the fundamentals are just improved in a better state, we look forward to a sector that is a key potential to the economic growth.
So as of now, you can say that Kenya as a country is a good spot to invest in real estate.
It is, of course, not resting on our laurels, because across East Africa, every state is working to improve its stake. I think for Kenya, if we look at how the year has been, we started on a good footing, a bit of a geopolitical interference, which made Q2 take a bit of a slump, but we've seen Q3 that is going by the quarters for the year 2024. There's a resurgence that is coming in, a settling in. You'll see in the suburb areas within the city, there is a stability that is now settling in terms of commercial spaces, which is, it's a pretty divide, because we are seeing multinationals and, all areas of economic activity adopting a kind of a hybrid setup. So for a hybrid, there are moments of working from the offices and working from homes. So working from homes improves the desire for residential desires, while working from home also, it's got a bit of an effect on how office investment in commercial spaces are affected. So to one, there's a plus. When there's a reduction, there's a plus to another end. So you'll see in both divides, there is a notable interest.
So they don't go concurrently?
there are split. There's been an improvement in hybrid working environment, which if you remember from the preeminence of COVID, did really reduce the commercial desires for in high-end market areas of residences, where now people are adopting working from home. What will that mean? A lot of investment is put on the residential side, because a house is no longer just a place of residence. It can equally turn to be an official space, which has also, on the retail end, we've seen even hotels now improving to grant you not only go to a hotel to get a snack or a good meal, but it's a spot that you can equally turn to be an office spot. So there is a blend that has reduced the commercial office request, but also improved the residential desire for in order to just replicate and replace the office setups.
When it comes to residential markets, is it fueled by the increased demand for exclusive housing options, or what is driving that?
It's a mix of both. You'll see very advanced apartments coming in, which are they help even the expatriates. We're seeing expatriates who are coming into the country, and businesses keen to reduce the cost on high-end hotel bookings. So they use that for expatriates who are coming for long-term stay. So you'll see apartments in high-end markets who are now turning to fully furnished. So in that space, there is more attention in developing apartments that assure that kind of investors. And also now to the residentials, it's a split of ensuring that as an investor, you choose of an option that is okay with you to build or to buy. So depending on the financial options that the sector offers you, you'll find a good mix of investors choosing to build exclusive for ultimate end retirement, but then for starters who are getting into the middle class, you'll see a lot of attention into very fine developed apartments for stay.
So in a way, the real estate is now moving into what we would see as a customized type of an environment where the customer comes first.
So you'll find developers picking more on the information of the customer delight, and so there comes in analytics, which helps people tailor-make what is it that the public and the customers at large do desire. What will work in say, upper markets of Nairobi, Kilimani, and Westlands may be different from what will be applicable in the stretches along the expressway, which is, you'll see a lot of residentials coming in because the commutering from the outskirts of Mombasa Road coming into the CBD is now more easy, and that is spreading out even to the secondary cities, Kisumu, Mombasa, and Nakuru and Eldoret. So you'll see a lot of settlements that are coming with ease of mobility then informs where apartments will come. And also students, our academic institutions also pressed with residential places. You'll see a lot of units coming in within the radius of academic institutions, just to plug into that number.
When it comes to office and commercial spaces, in 2024, has it gone up, and what has been the dominant trend in that specific area?
I think it has. It's beginning to regain the lost glory from the effects of the pandemic. A majority of investors had made plans for their workforce to work from home, and that one has come with another convenience and a cost cutting. So only to the units that are very essential are the ones that are resurging. So you'll see a blend of both in terms of, so it's not yet come back to the strong force that it was. It's actually another trend that is emerging, that now you'll only need to offer space for the very essential units that really need to be within the workforce of the office setup. And for those that will leverage on hybrid, there is a lot of convenience and adoption of the hybrid nature.
Let's talk about technology integration in the real estate sector. What has been the impact of it so far?
Oh, the impact has been massive. It's actually a revolution, if you'll call it so. From the pursuit to get your customable, house of design, all that is now out there. You'll find e-commerce sites which are now availing units, ranged in price ranges. So you just click your margin of capital that you are able to pump in, and then you are able to see options available. So in terms of search, that has been plugged in. In terms of development, also developers are adopting technology in a big way. We now have 3D imaging where, as a developer, you're able to immerse your clients into what you're bringing forth. They're able to live the experience before you ground break. So that is another beauty of technology. And also now in the technical works, you'll be seeing a lot of formwork technology, where it's precast and it enables buildings to come up very quick and fast, as opposed to the traditional brick and mortar. So technology continues to be an evolving one. You will see that even in the going future is just to ensure that there is ease in decision making, in costing, and in projecting completion periods of projects. And with that helps when you're able to project everything with meticulous finality, then there is aspect of costs that are saved as a result of technology.
What about in terms of listings for realtors now?
Of course, that is one that, as I commented earlier, you'll see a lot of e-commerce sites that are coming in to avail products that are listed in all areas of interest, which is an opportunity for the public to take advantage of, but also with a very keen eye, because as we'll develop in the conversation, there are specifics that every investor ought to be very keen on when selecting a unit, just to ensure that legally you are not exposed. So it comes with opportunities, but then needs a very keen eye to ensure that you're not affected by the machinations of the markets that always come in.
There's also the aspect of real estate investment trusts. Is there much information about these trusts, and what are they? You would talk about them now.
It's a model of investment that it's meant to help pump in capital into the real estate market. And so it is maturing in Kenya. I think one of the reasons which has made it not so much robust is the comparatives of the returns, where you wouldn't want to build, you just want to put funds into a kitty that goes into building, and so you expecting that there'll be some returns. So the returns are beginning to, they've been on a lower percentile, but I see a lot of improvements, because of late we've seen Sharia compliant REITs, and when that basket is widened, then there is more capital, which means there is, because the intent of REITs is to reduce on borrowings from the commercial banks, so that the profits aren't eaten by the interest rates. So with the opening up of the Sharia compliant REITs, we hope to see an improved returns that come on the REIT side. So that is a baby who's on a steady growth. When the fundamentals of the economics of the states across whichever economic bloc within African sub-Saharan are improved, then REITs will, without a doubt, be a good spot on to invest, because they're working so well in the development
Can they
world.
be used to determine if a property ownership, a specific property ownership is feasible?
To the extent that it will be one that has got a return which is, impactful.
Yes.
Because impactful returns then form an opinion for the market, which is then considered. But currently, it may not be one that determines the viability of a project, because the ultimate return that comes from a REIT is a component of all the facets that see into the making of a successful real estate project. And so once the cost of business is improved, the compliances become not a hindrance, but then a way of creating convenience. I'm sure you've seen multinationals who've had a problem with some regulatories that approvals taking time. So those are the impacts that then lead to loss of time, then loss of money, because time is money. So when all this is improved and then the sector is ring-fenced, then everyone is then impressed on it, then there is more pumping of capital in that space.
Yes. One of the flagship projects for the government is affordable housing. But I would want to know, what has been the impact of this project now within the real estate sector in the country?
Affordable housing is one that has come with mixed reactions. Started on a bumpy road. A regulation was put in there to just put it on the fold. I think currently we've seen the projects have ground broken. So the market expects that the timeline of delivery will be as was projected. That is number one. And then the public is also waiting to see how it will transform from the development to ownership. I think those are areas that the public are still very keen to see how it transitions. Once that trust has crept in, then it forms to be a very good way of increasing the house ownership within the country. So still early moments, formative, because as experts you are guided by data. The data that is currently, it's on groundbreaking spots, and I think the president has been very keen to move in those specific areas. The success of the project is on the project leads on all those parts that has been started. So it forms to be a very good aspect that will improve home ownership when the project ends successfully. Currently, we wait to see a successful one that leads to a successful transfer of ownership, which will see then the convenience that comes. Then the taxpayers will start to earn a smile.
Yes. Now, we're talking about real estate, especially in the urban areas, but what does rural urban migration, how does it impact the real estate now in, let's say, county levels, rural areas?
It's a real impact because rural to urban, it first affects the major cities. Excuse me, and that's where you'll see the social, the slum growth coming in, and also, you'll see a lot of settlements that are unplanned. So it's a major impact. For the counties, it is impactful to counties that have shown growth, and when you look at the impacts that are happening in the more so the ASAL areas, when there is a lot of impact in terms of economic activity, then you'll see a reduced movement from the far-long counties to the cost center counties, where that one will be talking of Nairobi, Nakuru, Mombasa, Kisumu. You see those counties along the rail belt, the railway belt. There's a lot of congestion in those spaces. And so, and I'm happy to see there's a lot of efforts that is going into expanding the SGR into other spaces that would push, developments to the other counties. So when all counties upgrade their economic status and there is more revenue tapped in within the counties, then you'll see less movements to the predominant capital cities and the secondary cities. So a lot still lies on the counties to really capitalize on the revenues that they get to ensure that there is capacity that is built to improve the economic activities within the counties.
What, for anyone who is who wants to get into real estate, what are some of the things that they need to know about?
It is a lucrative sector which needs a lot of keen eye, and you crunch your numbers and data to advise you in good places to invest in. Like I mentioned earlier, you'll see units now coming along the academic institutions. And what has been advised that they've seen a lot of academic institutions struggling to host the students. And so when you get a right data that speaks to that demand, then you're able to get it right. And also securing good funding, which is keen to the projected time of development of whatever property you have. Because if your financing is one that is shorter than the time of your development, that at some point you'll struggle. And that's why you must have seen lots of off-plan projects that get to stall at some point because of the financing that wasn't planned. And then the target market is also one that ought to be very meticulously checked into, because after putting all this capital, you'll expect that the target market, consumes it in the best time possible. And then, of course, it's also good to have regulatories that are speaking to improving the sector. It's regrettable to see instances that units have had to, fall down and lives lost just because of regulatories that didn't pay keen attention, because at the end of it, their lives that are involved in here. So those are aspects that must be looked into for investors. And then, of course, is just to ensure that, there is, you work in an environment that is well controlled in terms of security, in terms of infrastructure, and in terms of health, because you'll see my lapel here is sustainable development goals. And globally, these are conversations that are informing where the focus ought to be. So the environment must be one that is really sustainable to the investments that we are tracking.
Now, pegging on what has happened in 2024, what can you project for 2025 in terms of real estate investments?
2025 will prove to be a better year. Of course, when we speak from the Kenyan perspective, there was quite a rough patch in the Q2 of the year with the geopolitics. So with that one settled, there should be an ease of movement of goods and services and projections of all aspects. And of course, guided by the Monitoring Policy Committee, NPC, that happened just last week, you'll see the CBK governor has implored on the banks now to revise their interest rates lower because the CBR has also been on a lower trend. That one should now ease more access to funds at a lower rate for investors, hence making it an easy flow for them who are planning to develop. And of course, with the increasing foreign direct investments coming in, it tells that there is still more attention into this space. And we see a lot of activities by the government to bring in more investors. I was just impressed last week by the aspects that are happening in the metropolis, multinationals from outside the country coming in. So with that coming in, there is more opportunities, there is more jobs created, and when there is more jobs created, it means people need to stay in better places, hence speaks to the growth. So a cautiously optimistic year.
Yes.
Yeah.
What can you say have been the challenges, and how do they inform the sector now going into 2025?
Within the Kenyan ecosystem, I think having a stable geopolitics helps so much into ensuring that the developer, the financier, and the customer, the public at large, have got an ease of movement.
Yes.
So that one helps a lot. And then, of course, just an easy flow of interest rates that make access to capital not a pain, that will also will help. We're happy to see the shilling stabilize against the dollar. So that one will also make cost of goods transfer an easy one. So those are major aspects that will make the operations, make it pretty much affordable. And of course, there's one thing that all business aspects must all check is the right valuation of properties, avoiding the skyrocketing prices that are not keen to realities.
Yes.
So with all those put in together, it is a worthy place to put your money in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Felix, your closing remarks.
My closing remarks first is to wish all our viewers a festive season, and work to ensure that we all build an ecosystem that is fit for business. If you are a professional in the legal fraternity, put in regulation that will ease. If you are a developer, work out your skills to build an urban settlement that will be helpful. If you're in government, help all the parties that are keen to your service delivery to make an ecosystem where we can all build the economy together.
Thank you so much for making time to come to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you.
And talk to us about matters to do with real estate. That is Felix Akuku, who is e-commerce and value-added lead at SIC Investment Cooperative, talking to us about real estate trends in 2024 and the projection of 2025. This is where we end this conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Mike Migwe. Good Morning Kenya continues. Good morning.